Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I have not been on a live for a while. I've been taking care of some personal issues. And on top of that, just everything that's going on in this country, this pedophile war, this pedophile president, this pedophile Republican Congress, this Israel owned Congress, all of this that's been going on the last many weeks, on top of what I've been dealing with in my personal life, it just has been a lot. And I think that's what a lot of people are feeling as well, where just dealing with life and things that come up gets no, I wouldn't say harder, but because that's not what I've really been feeling, maybe more drawn out. Um, it takes longer to deal with. And I think the reason, I don't think, I know the reason why it takes longer to deal with our personal issues that come up is because we're all emotionally taxed. That's probably a good way to put it. Our adrenals are in overdrive because we have been in a dumpster fire fascist regime for now over 18 months. And a lot of people are just waking up to the fact that we're in a fascist regime. Oh, Trump's been lying to me. Oh, Trump is a pedophile. Oh, the Epstein files are real. Believe it or not, there's so many people in that 30% of America that's white Christian national, that are Republican conservatives, that are MAGA, that are waking up and saying, oh, we are living in a pedophile nation. And I've supported that. So with which is really good that people are waking up. But because of that, this fascist regime is putting more, because they're at the end, right? We're in late stage capitalism. Um, these tariffs, the cost rising, that was all by design to put pressure on the American people to give up and not pay attention to what was really going on over here because you're so stressed out in your life. So, finances are stressful. I'm still recovering from a natural disaster at the end of 2021, December 30th of 2021. I lost everything in the Marshall wildfire. And that has been a slow process of recovery. And now we've got this dumpster fire going on and these pedophiles running the show, and the Congress not working for the American people because they are Israel owned. If you didn't know they were Israel owned, you know it now because of what happened yesterday. And we all know what happened yesterday. All of Congress, the Senate and the House, refused to take away Trump's war powers, which he should never have had in the beginning. I blame Biden and the Obama administration for not turning around the rights we lost during 9/11. When people talk about history, when history talks about the fall of this country, it's not going to be the last 10 years since Trump. It's going to be 9/11 because Bush Jr. was not voted in by the popular vote. The Electoral College flipped. It was illegal what happened, and nothing was done. Those electoral people were not punished for flipping, and they should have been. And the Electoral College should have been abolished at that point because it went against the American people. Nope, didn't happen. And because of fear, and I wrote a huge article on this, so go and read one of my Substack posts where I talked about how 9/11 took away our personal freedoms and we just gave them away because we were in fear. And what's happened is because it started a surveillance state that never got pushed back, and it gave the president war powers that never got pushed back. These were all supposed to be temporary, and they have not been temporary. And on top of that, airports now are government surveillance institutions. And that should be very scary because we rely on air travel a lot in this country, and they are government surveillance operatives. That needs to be stopped. All of this shit show needs to be stopped. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I keep saying this, there is no one coming to save us. And people that are pessimistic, oh, well, they won't do this and they won't do that, so I'll give up. That's the reason we're in this fucking dumpster fire. And I'm so fucking pissed because people are dying that are, people are dying that are in other countries in these illegal wars that's for pedophiles to cover up their pedophile crimes. They rape children. Trump has raped and raped and raped children. And this has got to stop. Now, we also have our American boys and girls, women and men that are being killed because of a pedophile war. This is ridiculous. And Congress has betrayed us because they're owned by Israel. Israel owns all three branches of our government now. You should be aware of that. If you're not aware of it, go do your research. The curtain's been pulled back. And what we need to do now is shut this country down. We have the power to do that as the American people. And we have to push, right? It's not enough to get like Kristi Noem. It's not enough to get her fired. And she hasn't really been fired because she's been moved to that Marvel made up department. So she's still getting paid. We're still paying her. It's not enough to get her fired. She has to be held accountable, and she needs jail time. She has committed crimes against humanity, just like this entire fascist regime, including pedophile Trump. Now, how do we make that happen? With a Congress that has betrayed the American people. Because Congress is supposed to work for us, remember. We pay their paychecks. We elect them to represent us, not to go rogue. And they've all gone rogue. All of them. We have to start over. How do we do that? We have to remove our dollars. We have to remove our labor. We have to shut this country down like we did during COVID, like they did to us during COVID. We need to do to them. And we need to hold the line until our demands are met. Now, here's the thing. People are all like, oh, but we need a government. We need a Congress. No, we don't. No, we don't. And here's how it works. And people, you need to get educated. Other countries have done this. This works. You remove the fascist regime and you jail them. And you're without governance for like 6 to 8 months, 6 to 12 months. Usually takes something like that. And you have special elections. And those special elections installs by the people, for the people, representation. And that includes Congress. We just wipe Congress out. The Republican Party's trash. We need to remove all of them. And the Democratic Party is all centrist. We need to remove all of them. Then we have to have special elections in all these states. And we have to put people in that are going to represent us that are progressive socialist. So that we have health care, that our money stops going to these other countries, that Israel is completely out of our government. Yes, Congress has rubber stamped every single evil thing this pedophile president, Trump, has done. This is the only way forward, people. You can sit and talk and say, oh, let's be in committees, or let's see what these new people that have been voted into Congress that aren't going to take office for a while, see what they do, and this will get worse. And why do we want to wait? We don't have to. We shut this shit show down. Other countries have done it. They've set the example. We can do it too. So, what is that going to look like? Yes, Stewart is saying clean house and go progressive. Progressive European, which benefits workers. Thank you for the hearts. What I think you're saying there is clean house and go progressive, and that Europe has done that and it has benefited the workers. Yeah, exactly. Because here's the thing. We're not going to go back. Okay. And we need to get aligned with, you need your own income stream. I don't care if you buy my course. I'm telling you, you need to go get the education somewhere. And the quickest way to get the education is to buy a course. Go find someone you resonate with that you know is going to be around to help you. If that's not me, that's fine. I don't want you getting my course and then just holding on to it, because that defeats the purpose of this rebellion. We have to remove our labor. And I made a post. There's 92,000 jobs were lost in this last quarter. And Oracle has just announced they're, excuse me, they're removing, I think, 25,000 jobs, local owned. And so this isn't going to stop, right? As we stand up and take our country back, corporations are going to try to put the screws to everyone that works, because corporations like healthcare being tied to the job, because now they've got you by the neck. Healthcare cannot be tied to jobs. That's illegal, in my opinion. That's immoral. Reagan started this. It shouldn't be happening. You should not be tied to a bad job just because you have healthcare. It's probably not good, but you have healthcare. No. This is going to turn all that around. Corporations are going to say, well, if you're going to continue to push for this, we're going to eliminate jobs. This is not going to get better. Right? We're in the thick of it because Americans have been the word is not lazy either. The word is complicit. We've gotten ourselves in this dumpster fire. Absolutely, David. Healthcare is a human right, should not be tied to a job. Food is a human right. None of this. Tariffs are, this pedophile president has put tariffs on the American people in order to make life harder so that you might not rebel. This is what this is all about. As we push harder and shut this government down, because I think we are starting to get that movement where we're going to shut this country down, things aren't going to get easier immediately. Things are going to get tighter and harder. Either way, things are going to get tighter and harder. And that's the reality. And the reality is, how do you protect yourself? The way you protect yourself is you have to have an income stream that you own that at least pays the bills. How do you do that? I have a course that teaches you that. It's called the Beginnings Course. When you join my paid yearly Substack, you get my course for free for life. It's an offer that I've made to my Substack subscribers so that more of you will start right now building your income stream, because that takes a little bit of effort. A year from now, you need to have your own income stream going, international, that a government can't interfere with, that tariffs don't interfere with, and that you have an international audience. My base is mainly international clients because they are ahead of the game. right? They're already fighting. They're already shutting their country down. They're already in the throes of, oh, yeah, jobs aren't going to be around. Corporations are trying to squeeze us. Awesomeness, you're asking, how do you do? I don't I don't know what the question is. Um, can you clarify, please? So Europe, the rest of the world is ahead of us, right? And so they're already building out their income streams because they realize we've got to be in control of our income coming in. Now, does that mean that eventually you don't go get another job? No, but it also doesn't mean that you give up your income stream. We are in the world of AI. AI is not going away. And we are in a world where you need to have multiple income streams, regardless. But your own income stream, people that have that, like I do, like people that have bought my course and are building their income streams or have already built their income streams, these are the people that are going to survive this. They're not going to be in the breadlines. Go back 100 years. What happened 100 years ago? We had the Great Depression. Tariffs were the main reason. And then we had corporations buying farms and taking the topsoil off, which caused the Dust Bowl, and it led to the Great Depression. We had these people who were relying on one income stream, and when that was gone, they were in breadlines. Okay, so awesomeness, I'm not sure what you're asking, but um oh, so what I have two income streams, right? So let me finish I'll get back to that. Thank you, Robin. I'll get back to that in just a second, but let's put a pin there. I want to finish this um, line of thought from 100 years ago. Because FDR came in and taxed the billionaires. Because the reason we were in the Great Depression was because of billionaires, because of corporations, and because of tariffs. Exactly what's happening right now. Exactly what's happening right now. In the next year, there will be breadlines. There will be people on the street begging for food, not just homeless people. I mean, people that had jobs that thought they had security. This is where we're going. And the engine is running that direction. How do you protect yourself from that? You have an online income stream. That's the only way to do it. Unless you have a brick and mortar business, although I'm going to say that there's not going to be enough people in communities to support that in the next year. Next 3 years, yes. Next year, no. David, I would go and read your history because that actually is not completely true. The Dust Bowl was created because they sold their farms to corporations, and corporations started taking off the topsoil, which led to erosion. And we had billionaires who were not being taxed, who were concentrating wealth at the top, wealth hoarding, doing exactly the same thing the billionaires are doing now. And we had tariffs that were so extreme that people couldn't afford anything. It was FDR and FDR policies that turned us around. And the big one was taxing the billionaires out of existence. He did a 92% tax rate. In college, I did my thesis on FDR for my business administration side of my degree. It was for my economics class, and it was my senior project for my economics class. I am well versed in FDR and how it saved our culture and built the middle class. We had the most prosperous economy because FDR taxed the billionaires out of existence and removed all tariffs. He started the safety nets, the New Deal. I'm saying that corporations privatized farms. Go do your research, David. And they were in conjunction with these farmers that now had no choice because they were owned. Now, I have a personal history on this as well. My parents were much older. My mother was born in 1932, and her family were farmers in the Midwest, and their farm was bought by the corporations. And you know what they did? They didn't keep them on as overseers of the land. They kicked them off the land. My grandparents and my mother became migrant workers in California. And in 1933, because the corporation bought their farm and kicked them off. And you know why they bought their farm? Because they couldn't pay for their farm anymore because tariffs. Now, that's a personal history, but that's also historically correct. Now, was there a farm in the Midwest that was doing the topsoil, that still owned removing the topsoil, and that owned their farm? I'm sure there was, but the majority was not the case. Yeah, and I'm not trying to be harsh on you, David, but when people come after me after I've done the research, I know the truth, and I also do know that there are some farmers in the 20s and 30s that were told by the billionaires that this was a better way to farm. And so they started doing it, even though they knew it wasn't going to be right, because the billionaires told them. Just like today. Just like today. The billionaires tell you, oh, these platforms are all free because we want to connect the world. Bullshit. They want your data. And they've used your data. Your data makes them money. You stay on Meta, which means you're on Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook. You are lining Mark Zuckerberg, who's a pedophile. You're lining his pockets. Are you on X, formerly Twitter? You are lining Elon Musk's pockets with your data. Substack doesn't have ads. Substack is owned by a billionaire. Substack has been fucking around with the algorithm. I don't know if this platform will last, but I'm here to stay until it does. Because right now, the people on Substack are movers and shakers. TikTok is now owned by a billionaire. I am not posting or going live or doing anything on TikTok, but I download the app. I go and review my people that I watch. I download some videos that I think are of interest, and then I delete the app. And I'm only checking in on TikTok about 3 times a week now. And I don't leave it on my phone. It's not on any of my devices. Facebook. I'm on Facebook groups because I'm a homeschooler with my children still. I have one that I'm still homeschooling. And this is how we get a lot of information, is through groups. I think Facebook is going to end, and maybe Instagram too. And I have a lot of solid facts on why I think it's going to end, but we'll get into that later if you want to. Excuse me. But Facebook ads and your data and all the, I believe, illegal stuff that Facebook does is why it's free. Okay, Robin, I'm reading your thing. Okay, so let me first go back. Excuse me. Okay, let me first go back and tell you what I do. So, I have a degree in business administration, computer information systems. And so I've been a computer programmer part of my life. And then I had a corporate career before I was married and had children, where I ran a web division for a utility company in the Midwest. And I started the web division and I brought it up from the ground up. I got pregnant. I left corporate America on a high note. Corporate America, even then, was draining me dry. Um, but I am very well versed in technology, and I'm very well versed in social media, website design, and development and maintenance, as well as email marketing. So when I had my kid, my first child, my husband at the time, I guess I can't get around it too much, but he died in 2014, very suddenly. But my husband at the time, and I'm not remarried, but he's dead. Um, we decided we were going to start our own business because he was a technology guy and he was a engineer for Cerner. So we started our own consulting business and we did that up until he died. When he died, I had to shut that business down. So the next chapter, um, I had two little kids who had hearts that were broken because their father was dead. My heart was broken. And so because I was able to financially, we spent the next 3 years in deep grief therapy. And that was a miracle for us. That is what we really needed. So we stayed in grief therapy for 3 years. In 2017, I started my own social media boutique business. I would have 5 clients that I would do everything for: social media, website design, publication, and maintenance. I ran their websites and I did all their email marketing. As an email marketer, I always had around a 20% open rate, which is high, right? I'm really good at what I do. I ran that business from 2017 until the end of 2021. December 30th of 2021, I was living in Boulder, Colorado, and my house caught fire that also had my business in it, um, because I was in a natural disaster called the Marshall Wildfire. It destroyed 1,800 homes. Mine was one of them, and it destroyed my business. So the last 4 years, I've been rebuilding from that tragedy. And it was a tragedy. And I can have another live where I talk about what it's like to be a natural disaster survivor, because it is a hard road and it takes a lot and it doesn't happen overnight. The first year you run on adrenaline and then you crash, and then financially things hit hard. Now things hit harder because we were in this dumpster fire for me and my family, but it excuse me. I should have brought water because water does better when I'm talking than coffee. Um, but every natural disaster refugee goes through the same process because there's tons of data on this. Um, I've read the book, David, The Grapes of Wrath. I have not watched the movie. Um, so I'm aware of the book. I'm not sure what you're really saying about the movie. Awesomeness. I'm so sorry. Here's the other thing about tragedy and grief and trauma. You can no longer unsee certain things, and the resilience you builds a better life, because it's not how we get to our knees through the trauma and the grief. It's how we stand up and get back on our feet from the trauma and the grief that makes the person that we become. I'm also an EFT tapping specialist. I've been one since 2001. And um so David, I do believe with the narrative where the Caterpillar tractors were used to bulldoze homestead and homes. That's in the book. I haven't watched the movie. That's in the book. And the corporations did that, right? And so, it most of these farms that were taken over by corporations in the 1920s and 30s, late 1920s and early 30s, it wasn't the people that owned the farms that were necessarily doing that. There were a few, but that wasn't the majority, right? That wasn't the majority at all. Um, so back to my what I'm doing, right? So after the wildfire, I just did not have the finances to restart my social media business. And one of the reasons I didn't have that money is it takes an enormous amount of money to try to get back on your feet. And we have not been remediated. And so this is all blood, sweat, and tears getting us back on our feet, me and my children, after this wildfire disaster. Um, so I needed to do something, right? And we homeschool. I wanted to have some semblance of our lifestyle, even though it had drastically changed so quickly. Um, and me being present needed to stay the constant, right? So I started taking courses myself because in 2023, because I had knowledge gaps on how to actually set up an income stream that was completely online, because I worked with brick and mortars and even though I had a solid base, I definitely had knowledge gaps. I have always been an online class. I did get a degree in the 90s, but and I still believe that college has value. My kids are going to go to college in Europe, probably 2028. They're working now and building a different type of resilience and figuring out what they want to do. Um, and I do believe college provides something of an expansion of of your person, but I do not believe it provides a career, and I do not believe it provides an income. I mean, even going and becoming a doctor, you still are an entrepreneur, right? You don't just hang a shingle and all of a sudden you've got like doctor income as we all think about it. It doesn't work that way, right? Um, Robin, I'm sorry. Right. Okay. So, Robin, you're a really good candidate. I'm 57. And so it's never too late to start. It is never too late to start. And I fully believe that being a good entrepreneur, you're best at it after 50. Now, my business with my late husband was amazing. My social media business that I started as a single parent widow in 2017 was amazing. It has taken me a lot to get my online income going. And the main reason for that is because I'm coming off of this traumatic tragedy of losing our house in this natural disaster and losing everything. So we don't have a foundation and financially gutted. That's a real different place. So I understand, Robin, where you're coming from. So you have to do it in steps, right? So let me explain. So in 2023, I had the money to buy courses. I took courses. I always believed in courses. I have taken courses my whole life online. I use Asana, which is basically my project management tool, and I've used that since 2017. The way I learned it to be the most efficient on it, I took a course. Right now, I'm taking a course from a woman who took my course and developed a course herself on how to build shortcuts to make your phone more of an assistant, right? As a personal assistant. And I love it because I've never used the shortcut app. And it's so amazing on the iPhone. So what I did was that I took my knowledge and I got a course. I did several courses, but I ended up landing on one course that I really loved that walked me through all the technical pieces that didn't leave out any bits and pieces. What I discovered in a lot of these online courses that were for digital marketing and monetizing your skill set, they would leave out key pieces, and that pissed me off because now I have to go out and hunt for that information, which is what I was thinking I was getting in this course. The other thing I didn't like about courses, some of the courses I took, and they're actually not around anymore, and that's probably the reason why, is they always had upsells, right? And to get more of the content that you need, you had to pay more, right? There was this one course that I ended up paying $2,500 in total, and it started off at 10. And they would just give you little segments of the data, and then to get more, you had to pay more. I don't like that. I don't do that. I also don't do upsells. I also don't do, um, once you own it, once you buy it, you got it for life, for as long as we're around because, I don't any updates I do, you don't pay for those. So, um, I started my tapping business. My tapping business is called The Tapping Lab, and I offer 5 90-minute sessions that you purchase, and I used everything I learned in the course to build out that business. It was not it's never one of the businesses that are going to be my cash cow or take care of everything. And that's the thing you've got to have the mindset that changes. You're never going to be the one there's only one and only. You're going to have multiple ones. So that was paying some of the bills and that now does cover all my bills. But in 2023 it wasn't. I went to YouTube. There's several people on there, creators that post about online jobs that I could do from home. And I got 2 online jobs that I could do from home as I was building out my tapping lab business. I did those 2 online jobs, each part-time, right? So I was working basically 3 jobs. Well, the tapping lab by the end of December of 2023, it took me about 8 months. It, um, wait, I'm off a year. So 2023, I took the courses. I started these 2 part-time jobs that were paying the bills. I started my tapping lab in February of 2024. And it took me until December of 2024 before it replaced one of my online jobs. So in December of 2024, I was able to quit one of the online jobs. And I took these jobs that were, online jobs, not to be career jobs, just to pay the bills. Then I decided, okay, I have the time now. I can build out a second income stream. And I decided I wanted to teach other people how to build out a business online, how to monetize your skill set. And so it's called Be Your Worth. And I started that business in making sure I've got it right. I started that business in January of 2025. Now,
Who's texting me?
oh, hold on just a moment. Lena! Lena! I'm sorry. I have to get my daughter. We have an order that just arrived. Lena! Lena! sorry. Lena! Lena! Okay. Um, Robin, don't regret not going to college. And here's the thing, you can go now if you want. Make the money and go if you that fulfills you, right? But don't regret it. Hold on just a moment. I'm so sorry. Just a pause. Um, my daughter is notoriously so hard to get a response from her. Lena! Um, okay, sorry about that pause. Is that crazy? I'm yelling. I'm just so sorry. Um, okay, she's gonna go take care of it now. She just doesn't respond to me very quickly, and so it's always hard when stuff is going on in the background with her. My son responds much quicker. Um, okay, so excuse me for yelling, at my daughter. Yes, it's called the Shortcut app, Robin, and it's, you have to download it. It is amazing. It is such a good app, but it is technical. Oh, yeah, well, you might like it. Awesomeness, lead with crumbs. I don't know what that means. Um, okay, Robin, a tapping business. EFT tapping is called emotional freedom technique. And what I do is I teach people how to do EFT and then um if you're doing the 5 sessions with me, I actually help you with and that's what I do with my clients is that help them like if they're stuck or if they're just learning or like for example, after my husband died, even though I was an EFT specialist, I went to someone else and I spent about a year working with somebody else with the grief because I just couldn't do it on myself. And then I could again. Um and then after the fire, I also, spent about 9 months with another person helping me to get out of my grief and my trauma because I was just not able to do it on myself. And then I started doing it on my kids and myself, and it's immensely helped us. But we are still all in complex PTSD because of it, because of the Marshall wildfire. Okay, so I'm trying to hear, let's see. Thank you, Robin. I feel so silly screaming, but I needed I needed to get her attention. Oh, yes. I really hate that. I really hate how there are some courses, a lot of them have faded off, because again, this was in 2023 where, I just think it was just not, ethical, in my opinion. So I don't do that. But anyway, back to my timeline. So we're at the end of 2024. I was able to quit one of my online jobs, and because my tapping lab replaced that income. In January of 2025, I started Be Your Worth. That actually got momentum much quicker. And by May of 2025, I was able to quit my second online job. And so I'm just working my tapping lab and my Be Your Worth business. And both of them are online incomes. Neither have been affected by tariffs or by the government. The majority of my clients are international, including with EFT, right? We do it via Zoom. And uh, if you become a paid so there's several things on my paid side of Substack, right? You could join monthly, and joining monthly, you would see there's several things you can download, including the Canva crash course, the grief work. I did a grief workshop in 2023 that were like 1 day grief workshops, and the tapping scripts from those I put into a PDF, and those are available on my paid site of Substack. Also, I have several EFT videos that you can watch, and you can download the EFT scripts. But you have to be on the paid side, and you can do that monthly. If you do the yearly paid side of Substack, you get all of that. Plus, I will give you lifetime membership to my course, The Beginnings, that I'm talking about. You don't get that with the monthly, but you do get that with the yearly paid subscription on my Substack. And the reason why I'm doing that, this isn't where I'm making the bucks, right? This isn't here on Substack. I'm doing that because Substack has the people that are the movers and shakers who are wanting to do this, right? Here in America. My international clients, aren't here on Substack, and I sell my course for full price elsewhere. And my course, what it teaches you, right? Last month I went through module 1. If there's people interested, I'll go through the modules. I don't post those lives on my paid side. I mean, you have to show up for those. And I am thinking about doing that starting with module 2. But you can just go and look. There's reviews. The link is in my bio. There's reviews on the course. I'm here to stay. I answer my DMs. I help you. But my course is solid because not only does it teach you email marketing, it teaches you beginning social media, which that landscape is changing a lot, but it's still a good foundational place to start. I teach you how to monetize your skill set, right? And I teach you, what platforms do you use for that, right? I use Stan Store. It's $29 a month. And then for my email marketing, I use System.io. And I teach you how to set everything up on both of those platforms. And you go through that and then you can make your own decisions, right? System.io is free. There is a paid side, but I haven't even gotten to that needing the paid side. My Canva crash course is a supplement to my Be Your Worth course, and it teaches you how to up level your marketing using Canva, and not the paid side of Canva, the free version of Canva. I have those separate because I have a lot of people that purchase my Canva course, and I do charge for it. The only place that you don't get it, that you don't have to pay the price that I charge for my Canva course, is on becoming a paid member of my Substack. I offer a lot to my members because you are the ones who are doing the work. A lot of the people that purchase my course, um, they actually don't use it, right? They don't, eh, it's like they're just collecting it. And the same with the Canva course. Every one of my paid subscribers have used, or, they're using the course. They're using the Canva crash course. And that's what I'm wanting, right? Because we're never going to get out of this dumpster fire if we're not all working together doing it. Um, oh yeah, for sure. And I also think, doesn't Harvard now offer free courses? Um, I'm just making sure got, I think I caught up on all the messages. Thank you so much for the hearts, and thank you for the messages too. And if I miss you, just let me know. Um, hello, Michael. Thank you for joining today. So the other thing that you learn in my course is, there's a platform that I personally love. You can start off free, and then as you build your business, you can go up levels, and it's called School. And I think it's the best platform for a course. Now, I have my course on Stan Store, and that's because of the way that I market it, like here on Substack. But um, probably when I do a big update on um, the beginnings course, which is my course, I'll probably end up moving it over to School. I did have on the tapping lab for several years a course on tapping that I may start again. One was on the body and one was on tapping for money, like money blockages. And I had both of those on school and they did very well. Um, so I teach you how to set that all up on school. Now, what does it mean to monetize your skill set? I'm the example, right? What's my skill set? I'm an EFT specialist. I monetize that. And I'm a social media, email marketing, website designer. I'm Squarespace certified. I'm a Canva expert. And I've utilized all that information to to do this course and sell it and promote it. This isn't fluff. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's not stuff that you're like, oh, I could have Googled that and found that. Now, here's the thing. Everything in my course, you could use Google and YouTube to figure out. It will take you months and months and months. You don't have time for that. No one does, right? Courses, regardless if you buy mine or someone else's, courses are the shortcut, right? So think about it. The analogy that I like to use is that because America's not set up for, except for maybe New York, right? But we're not set up for transit very well. It doesn't work very well at all. And so if I want to go to the grocery store and I want to walk, it will take me all day to go there, get groceries, and come back. If I want to use transit, it would probably take me about 6 hours. 2 hours to get there, 2 hours to shop, 2 hours back. The most efficient way is to get in my car, drive to the grocery store, and drive back, which takes about 90 minutes. So which way am I going to choose? I'm going to choose the car. That's what a course is about, right? You can definitely cobble together all this information using Google and using YouTube, but it's going to take you a lot longer. The quickest way is to use a course. So how do you get my course? Well, you can click on the link above in my bio and you can go look at all of the information about the course, Be Your Worth, as well as all the reviews. And then you can come back here on Substack and purchase my yearly subscription. And then you get the beginnings course for free for life. That's my offer to Substack when you join my yearly paid Substack. I'm doing that because you guys are the ones that are the rubber meets the road. You're doing the hard work and I'm here to try to help that, right? I've had a lot of people take advantage of this and they ask me questions. I answer their DMs. We talk a lot about what's going on for them, like how they're going to monetize their skill set. And a lot of times people get discouraged because, and I'm just going to use this example. Well, I've been making candles and I wanted to teach people making candles, but there's a lot of people out there teaching making candles. Yeah, and that should not discourage you. And the reason why is because people are attracted to what you have to offer through your life experience and your lens of how you present the content. And everybody is different that way. Everybody is unique that way. And so don't think about that, right? What you want to focus on is to monetizing your skill set. Now, what is happening worldwide? Worldwide is everybody is starting to return and it hasn't quite hit that tipping point, but it's kind of like people here were, relying on billionaires like Amazon and Jeff Bozo, I like to call him. And now we're starting to do this. We haven't hit that tipping point yet, but we're kind of like I think about right here where people are going back to grassroots. They're growing their own food because we've got pedophile Microsoft dude, Bill Gates, who's spraying a peel on all of our food. America has the worst food supply chain and it's toxic, right? Forever Chemicals, this pedophile president, Trump. Yes, put Forever Chemicals in all the food. Yes. Make all the water toxic. So people are moving back to the grassroots of we're going to grow our own food, we're going to make our own candles, we're not going to buy from big stores. Because part of removing our labor, which is what we've been talking about mostly today, by starting your own income stream. And you have to get the education piece first. And here's the other piece I do want to say about the income stream. I told you my timeline, right? I would say my timeline is a little bit long because I was in trauma coming off of the Marshall wildfire and losing literally everything. But if you start in the next month or two where you're actually, sorry, hold on. I think I'm going to sneeze. Okay. If you start the education piece now, and in the next month or two, you launch your income stream, within a year, you're going to be making money that pays your bills. And I mean, if you're consistent and you work it like a business, right? You're going to be solid a year from now, right? Not you're not going to work 2 hours and make $10,000 a month. That's bullshit. And that we're bots and that we're billionaires who is sending out influencers saying that crap on TikTok. And it's not true because billionaires do not want you to remove your labor from this economy because they rely on extracting your labor. I posted several videos about Dr. Oz saying that we need more labor. He also said that, people need to go to work sooner and they need to work later in their life. Why do you think first of all, Dr. Oz is a kook. Another one brought to us by Oprah, the billionaire fuck queen. I hate her. She is a spiritual bypasser and she is an oligarch and she is part of this fascist regime. But why do you think he's promoting that line of talk? It's because the billionaires want to extract more of our labor. We have to stop it, right? And the first way to stop it is get that income stream going. If you're unemployed right now or you're in a dead-end job that's really not taking care of you, go find 2 or 3 online jobs that you can do from your home as you build your income stream and do those to replace that dead-end job, right? I'm not telling you to go without income. I'm telling you there's a lot of going to benefit you by doing it because right now, this fascist regime that's pedophile ran is only going to get worse and we have to shut it down. So one of the ways we shut it down is by removing our labor. Another way that we shut it down is removing our dollars. And if we're removing our dollars, one of the best ways is stop buying big box. These stores like Walmart and Target and even King Soopers, where you can go buy makeup, herbs that are questionable. I'm not questionable about herbs, but the herbs that these big box stores sell, I'm saying are in question. At these other stores, you can buy tires, you can buy glue, you can buy clothes. It's crazy. It's not a grocery store, right? And they're a monopoly. I made a post about this, a video yesterday about how there's like 4 monopolies that control everything in America. And that's why America is in a dumpster fire. That's why we've got shrinkflation. If you don't know what shrinkflation is, it's like Chipotle's. They've shrunk their bowls, but raised their prices. So you get less, but you have to pay more. These companies need to be shut down. How do we shut them down? We remove our dollars. Stop going to Target. Stop going to Walmart. Stop going to King Soopers. Find your local grocery stores that are local owned or community owned. I go to one here in northern Colorado called Esh. Trader Joe's is also a really good option, although I would be careful with their produce because it has a peel on it, and I would be careful of their meats. I don't like their meats. Um, Costco. Costco is DEI. They've stood up to Trump. They're not pedophile owned. They treat their employees great. Support Costco, right? Again, I'd be careful on their produce. Their produce is sprayed with a peel, right? Because this billionaire, Bill Gates, who's a pedophile, thinks he knows what's best for you and me, and he does not. No pedophile knows what's best for you and me. And here's the other problem. We have to shut down this country because our society is not safe with pedophiles. Pedophiles cannot be rehabbed. Pedophiles need to be jailed for life because they have to be removed from our society. And with this pedophile war going and what this corrupt Israel Congress has done as of yesterday, I'm not in favor of paying for pedophiles to be jailed. I think they need the death penalty because you cannot reform a pedophile. I think the pedophiles need a death penalty, and I think those that supported a pedophile need to be jailed. And here's the thing. Pedophiles never operate as a lone wolf. They never operate in a silo. They always have a group of people that are feeding them victims. Always. Every pedophile. So this Epstein list, this Epstein class of billionaires, these billionaire pedophiles, these church pedophiles, this white Christian national bullshit of loving pedophiles, these Republicans who love their pedophiles, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, who is a grinder dude that's in hiding, they need to be held accountable. I'm glad Kristi Noem got demoted. She wasn't fired, but the person coming in, which of course is going to be voted on yes because we have an Israel Congress, they're not representing the people. They're representing Israel. They're going to vote him in, and he's just as bad, if not maybe even worse. And then she's going to go to this made up Marvel office. I mean, I don't even understand what this is. It's all bullshit. She needs to be held accountable. She has committed crimes against humanity and she needs to be jailed. Keg's breath, crimes against humanity and war crimes. I'm not sure if he should not be held accountable like the Nazis and given the death penalty. Yeah, he's a total joke. So the way that we get this done, the only way we get this done here in America is we have to shut this country down like it was shut down in COVID. It was shut down in COVID by Trump, and it didn't benefit us at all. It did the opposite because Trump was not elected by the people. The Electoral College flipped, and we got that pedophile shit stain. And now we need to shut down this government on them like they did to us during COVID. And the only way we do that is we stop going out, we stop purchasing stuff, and we work on removing our labor. Yeah, Elon Musk installed Trump. Elon Musk is nasty, and he's a pedophile. He's disgusting. And so, I'm on here talking about this because there is really no other way. We have to do this. So some of the things that I'm doing that I like to share. So We love Spotify, my family and I. We have been struggling. Obviously, Spotify supports ICE, which is the Republican Gestapo. And we have struggled and struggled with trying to find an alternative. Well, my daughter, she was with some of her friends a few days ago, and they had come up with another alternative called Tidal, Tidal. My daughter has started working with that and transferring everything from Spotify to Tidal, and it's worked. So we are going to be moving this week to Tidal, and I will let you know how that works. I really encourage you to get off Spotify. This has been the hardest one for me to remove. I'm off Google, and the way that I'm off Google right now, if you go to my paid site of Substack, you're still downloading Google Docs for the EFT scripts. I have not converted those over to Proton ME. I've converted my calendar to Proton ME. I've converted both my emails to Proton.me. Proton.me is a European version of Google, but you have to pay for it. And here's the thing we have to get used to. If we want privacy, we have to pay for it. The billionaires have given us free stuff and enticed us with free stuff so that they could dominate and take all of our content, all of our data. We don't own anything on these social media platforms. Yeah, I love Proton. Proton.me. I love it, love it, love it. And it's so much better than Google. So much better than Google. I am just starting to convert my docs. And that's just taking me some time, but I will have that converted at least by the end of April. Those are two big shifts for me. We have cut all of our streaming services. Hopefully you have cut them too. I am streaming from the library. I have cut Amazon a long time ago, like 3 years ago, or in 2024, I cut Amazon. Please cut Amazon. Jeff Bezos is bad, bad, bad. And he's a pedophile. You know, he got a dick implant, and his current bimbo wife sets up sex parties for him. Now, are they underaged women? You know, are they children? So 18 and younger, which are not women, are not underage women. They are not. They are children being raped. I don't think so. I think they are adults, but she does set up sex parties for them. Elon Musk also got a dick implant, but what I read, it was a failed procedure. Jeff Bezos was a success procedure. Boycott CBS because we've got to get Larry Ellison. We got to put him down. I mean, he needs to be taxed out of existence. He's a bad, bad pedophile guy. Yes. Yes. What adults do is totally different. But Jeff Bezos is in the files, and having sex parties and being part of the Epstein class, that should come under scrutiny. He's just not a normal guy, having an orgy. And there's a lot of nasty stuff, if you haven't read it, in the Epstein files that should be concerning to you of anyone doing orgies that are in those files. So cut Amazon, which also means cutting Amazon Photo, Amazon Prime, the Wall Street Journal. Unfortunately, it also means Goodreads. And I was on Goodreads, and I have since stopped on Goodreads. What else is Amazon? Audible, and cut off Audible. I have done all of that. I do still have the Audible app because the things I've bought in the past, I still own. So I still want those because I do listen to some of those. However, I'm streaming, I'm doing like books on, I guess it's not called books on tape. I started to say books on tape. It's not books on tape. Yes, I use DuckDuckGo. I don't use Google. Um, it's not books on tape. What would you call it? Streaming books. Um, but I'm doing that from the library. I'm not sure what that word is, but books on tape, book streaming. I'm doing that. Yes. Audible books. Thank you. I don't know why that was just brain fart. I think it is Kobo Reader, but I do it through the library. Um, and I'm also doing reading books from Kindle. I quit Kindle, again, an Amazon thing. And now I do still have my Kindle app, just like my Audible app, because there are books I own, right? And I'm not gonna just kill the app and then I can't read those books. I'm just don't have a subscription and I'm not buying anything else on either one of those apps. But I am doing that through the library as well. So I'm doing my audiobooks. I'm reading, downloading books through something similar to Kindle through the library, and I'm streaming through the library. Use your libraries, right? Your libraries are a huge source for this. And yes, you have to learn a different interface, and that's just not that big a deal. Yeah, Robin, it's actually not difficult to avoid all these things. Because I'm going to tell you, hook, line, and sinker, I was in it all. What is difficult, um, is to become aware of how you bought into the system. When that awareness piece happened for me, that, oh, holy shit, I'm in deep in this system, which was in early 2024 and into the summer of 2024 after I read Project 2024 or Project 25. Um, I, that's what was really hard because I realized that I had bought in hook, line, and sinker. Now, what has not been hard has been removing it. And I have removed it in stages. So that's made it easier. And also by removing it, um, I've had to change my calendar and my time. That piece was a little hard at first, because I was used to Amazon just dropping stuff right for me and Walmart sending me, just send me my groceries. And so now I have to leave the house. So I have to now pad in time to go to the dairy, to go to the bakery, to go to the local grocery store, to go to the butcher. So now I'm going to different stops. I don't try to do them all on one day. I spread them out, but now I'm used to it. And that's the piece that Americans have to get used to is trading out the big box stores and the Amazons and the Walmarts and the Targets and the King Supers and padding in the time to go to these other locations. That's another point of why you want to have your own income stream. Because when you own your own income stream and you're making your own money, that's not a job that's over you where you have to put in your time in your clock. You have to clock in one way or the other. Even if you're a salaried employee, you have to be in that chair. You have the time to go to these other places and do this other um, type of rebellion by going to the dairy and the butcher and the bakery and the local grocery store because you have the time to do that. Now, why do you have the time to do that? Well, so for my schedule, I usually get up at 5. I have a morning practice I do until 7. I'm usually doing something with my kids between 7 and 8, taking them to a job or to a scouting event, something, then I usually work from 8 to 11 or 12. And then I take usually from 12:30 to 3 to go do errands. Usually my kids have appointments or things going on then, or I'm picking them up from a job or taking them to job, something. And then I usually work from 3 to 6, and then I do dinner. Now, I've already worked like 6 or 7 hours, right? And then I usually work an hour in the evening, like usually between 7 and 9. I'll work an hour somewhere in between there. So that's an 8-hour day. It's just not 8 hours consecutively, which is what a job demands, right? When I was in corporate, I had to work 8 hours consecutively. I couldn't break it up, right? Sometimes I could go and do a doctor's appointment. It had to be a legitimized. And I was in upper management. I did not have control of my calendar. So that's one thing that you get, right? You get control of your calendar. Yes, awesomeness. That's another thing. People are moving back to the kitchen. The kitchen is the first line of revolt. And you can produce things in your kitchen without special equipment. Cottage cheese, yogurt, your cocoa mixes, your biscuit mixes. Excuse me. Um, you get fresh milk from the dairy. It has like this much cream on the top, and that's your butter. Um, I use it for my coffees, and I make butter with it. Oh, thank you, Robin. I am going to be on every day this weekend. So if you have time, join us again. I really appreciate you showing up, Robin. Yes, and you can make your own bread. There's a lot of breads that you can make that are so easy. You don't need a bread machine. You don't need a special bread bowl. You can make it. That is what people are returning to. And awesomeness, maybe this is your skill set that you monetize, because this is an art that has been lost in our society, right? And people are returning to that. People are returning. I knew what you meant. People are returning to growing their own food. We have the devices now where we can grow them inside hydroponically. People are returning to making their own candles. We went to the library last month and we learned how to make our own candles. And we love it. Make your own lip balm. We went to the library in January and my family learned how to make our own lip balms. Make your own soaps. The library is teaching that this month, and I don't think we can make it, but they are going to teach it again in 3 months. Make your own soaps. This is the wild, wild west of rebellion, because your kitchen is a place where you can rebel from the corporate world, the corporate conglomerates, the privatization of everything that's good. Joann's Fabric was amazing. They went out of business because of privatization. And you can get healthy, right? Doesn't need to have 25 ingredients. Bromide should not be in our bread. If you know how to do this stuff, you've got a skill set to monetize. It doesn't matter there's other people doing it, because you're going to be teaching it from your life experience and from your lens. And people are going to resonate to that and buy it. How do you do that? You got to get the education piece. And how do you get the education piece? You got to purchase a course, right? Again, join my paid Substack yearly and you get my course for free for life. Or you can go to the link in my bio and purchase it there if you don't want to join the paid side of Substack. But you get all my downloads. Now, if you join my monthly paid side of Substack, you don't get my course for free, but you do get all the other downloads. And And then if you go to the link in my bio, you can also read about the course, and you can read several of the testimonials that I've posted that people have sent in to me. I have a few more to post, so I'll be doing that this weekend as well. One of the other things I wanted to talk about just real quick, uh, because I am not doing subscriptions. You got to be careful with cars too. Cars have subscriptions in them, right? If you in 2024, when I was looking at this about how I bought in hook, line, and sinker, I realized I was renting my whole entire life out. I didn't own very much. Now, I was coming off the Marshall wildfire where I'd lost my house and everything I owned, and it felt it was a real empty moment for me. And that's when I'm like, okay, well, I might not own very much right now, but I know where I can cut the cords because I'm not going to rent my life out to billionaires. And that's what you're doing when you continue to go to big box stores like Walmart and Target, and you go to these big conglomerate grocery stores like King Soopers or Kroger's. Kroger's owns King Soopers. I mean, there's only 4 or 5 monopolies. These monopolies need to be shut down. And it's true for tech too, right? And it's true for social media. I'm moving, social media wise, I'm moving to Open API, which means that the government cannot own it. No one can own my data. I own it. Blue Skies and Skylight Social, Skylight Social is a substitute for TikTok, and it's a woman who is building it with her partner. Her name's Tony or Tori. Her name's Tori, and they're doing an excellent job. It is still in the process of being built. It's called Skylight Social. You can download it. That's where I'm at. That's where I am starting to post videos. Besides here on Substack, and Blue Skies, which is a Twitter alternative. And neither one of those social media platforms own your data. You own your data. And the government cannot come in and do anything. So you don't have to say, if you want to say pedophile, you can say pedophile. You don't have to write it out as P3D. You don't have to do all this code, right? If you want to say fuck, you can say fuck and you can write out fuck. You don't have to do fuck asterisk CK, right? That's all because the billionaires are teaching us control, right? Which I am not okay with. Now, if you haven't, I mean, the rest of the world has shut down Meta and said, nope. Many places in Europe have refused to allow Zoom in anymore, which has been just since last month. And there was a couple of other things they've shut down. Google's next on the list. They're just like, nope, we're not going to have any of you guys. You know, you are private vampires, and you're not going to do that to our citizens. Now, when Europe was doing this, France has come after Elon Musk. I don't think they've shut down Twitter over there yet, but they've raided their offices, and he's in court right now. If you haven't read some of his bullshit, he's saying, "Oh, people read too much into my tweets." Bullshit, you fucking pedophile. These billionaires, just like Bill Gates. Oh, well, I wasn't really, I didn't really have sex with anyone. I was over at the island, Jeffrey Epstein's island, for philanthropy reasons. Oh, really? And that's why your wife said she divorced you because you refused to stop going to the island? These billionaires are liars. And Larry Ellison, I've posted this video. He has come out several times saying that we need stronger surveillance on the American citizen because the American citizen is not an honest citizen, and they will only do good if they think someone's watching them. Bull fucking shit. And here's the thing, right? Everything a billionaire says is a tell on themselves. And what Larry Ellison is saying to us is that he can't be trusted and he needs to be watched. And that's exactly what we need to do behind jail. Right? So what do we do? How do we do any of this? Do you understand? I'm talking about this. The only way we do this is shut down this country. We have to remove our dollars and our labor, right? Removing our dollars is easier and is the fast win. And then we remove our labor, right? And that's a gradual process. But it starts by getting the education, right? Go find a course that you want to take and take it. Don't be somebody who buys a course and then just sits on it, right? That's why I'm making this offer here, because most people on Substack are actually using the information and they're doing it. The rubber is meeting the road. And that's why I'm making the offer that when you join my yearly paid Substack, you get my course for free for life. I'm getting ready. I've had some struggles on finishing my my ebook on the kitchen being the first line of rebellion. But I'm hoping I might get that done this weekend. I don't want to put anything in there that I'm not doing, so that's a process for me. So I don't think you can swing a cat without hearing about JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette, right? Because there's this new movie out or TV show called Love Story, I think, and I really have enjoyed. She's on YouTube, um, and her name is Maureen Callahan. This is her picture. I really enjoy this author. I really enjoy her podcast and her videos on YouTube. But she wrote this book called Ask Not, and it's a very good book. I got it from the library. I really encourage you to read this book. Now, why would I encourage you to read this book? Not to glamorize JFK Jr. anymore, for sure. But so that you get your eyes opened, okay? Because the reason why this book is so good is that she dismantles the Kennedys being this political, glorified family, the Camelot of America. They were awful, awful, awful people. And JFK Jr. murdered his wife. I'm a firm believer that JFK Jr., it was a murder suicide because he was on the verge of divorce with her. It tied up loose ends by having her in the plane and killing them all. His magazine, George, was about to go under, and he wasn't on speaking terms with his sister because they were fighting over their mother, Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy's estate. And so I don't think he knew how to get out of the mess he was in except for suicide. And he wanted his wife to be murdered too, because my opinion is that she was a loose end, that she would spill the beans. And he wanted his legacy to be, oh, JFK Jr. And so I believe it was a murder suicide. And the reason why is because everything that's come out about this was 25 years ago, about his plane crash. He turned off the autopilot. He turned off radio communication to the tower. He also left in weather that was bad, that other pilots told him not to go in, that they were saying, we're not going to fly on it. These are experienced pilots. He was not licensed to fly in those conditions, right? Now, he was not a smart guy, right? He wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. And he constantly put his girlfriends, and girlfriends have written books about this. He constantly had put girlfriends in life-threatening situations. Not a good guy. Not a good guy. He almost ran into an American Airlines jet the day that his plane crashed, but they couldn't get a hold of him because he had turned off all the communication. Why would you do that in bad weather? And the American Airlines jet had to divert to avoid him crashing into them. and those 200 souls being lost because of him. He was a menace that Jacqueline Kennedy and the Kennedy name continued to preserve as something that it wasn't. Now, this book isn't about just that piece. This book is actually about the women that the Kennedys destroyed. Because the Kennedys, just like RFK Jr., who's a complete crazy guy, he belongs in an institution. He drove his wife, Mary, to suicide because he did financial harm to her. They're all of them, all of the Kennedy men are whores in the worst possible way, starting with Joe Kennedy. And the Kennedy family does not deserve to be put on a pedestal. And the reason why I encourage you to read this book, Ask Not, is because we need to stop putting these people on pedestals and thinking they're so wonderful. The Kennedys are not wonderful. Now, I know Carolyn's still alive, and she has a crazy kooky son who wants to join the political life. I am not here for it. He is a kook 100%. JFK Jr. is crazy, and he needs to be put in jail, in an institution, because he is fucking crazy. Carolyn Kennedy has come out and said he's crazy and said all the crazy stuff he did. All of the Kennedy men have murdered women in their lives. JFK tried to commit Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis to a mental institution because she was mad he was cheating on her. Do you see the trend here? We need to stop putting these political people on pedestals. And the reason this book is good is because one of the greatest places to get education is to defame the original political family that's considered a dynasty, that's considered Camelot. That's all a fucking lie. Jacqueline Kennedy made it up. It's a lie. The Kennedy family is trash, and we need to start there and defame them and take them off the pedestal. They have created a ton of harm, and they do not belong in our political process. So, on this note, it's called Ask Not, and I really encourage you to read it. It's written very well. I'm about a fourth of the way through. I'd love to get back on here with other people that have read this and see what you think. Rose Kennedy, who was JFK's mother, was a horrible person. Ethel Kennedy, who was RFK's, RFK Jr.'s mother, was a horrible person. And they were always put up on this, fake pedestal. And that's what we have to stop, right? We have to stop that. Remove your money, remove your dollars, get your education. Join my paid side of Substack, the yearly paid side of Substack. Get my course for free and use it. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. If I don't resonate with you, which I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's totally fine, go find somebody that does resonate with you, that has a course that will teach you how to build your income stream, how to monetize your skill set. I guarantee you, every single one of you has something to give that somebody else wants. Hello, Misuse. I hope you join me, Misuse, tomorrow. I will be back on tomorrow morning. Gonna get off of here now. It has been lovely. Thank you so much for everybody that showed up and everybody that commented. Thank you, awesomeness. I'm here. I answer my DMs. Tomorrow, I think it will be, like, somewhere around 8 to 8:30 in the morning, Mountain Time. So, like, right now, it's 10:30 in the morning Mountain Time. Um, so I'm thinking about getting on about 8:30 at 8:30 and then being on for a couple of hours. Um, I've been loving your posts, by the way, Miss Hughes. Um, keep it up. Alright, guys, have a wonderful Friday. Know there's more shit that's gonna go down today, and take care of yourself. Oh, okay. So if you're on Eastern Time, it would be 10:30 your time that I'm gonna start tomorrow. Yeah, like 10:30. Alright. I love you people, and I know I don't know you all personally, but I love this community, and I want us to stay close and develop connections because we all need them. We all need them. I need them, you need them. I'm here to support you, and you guys showing up support me. Thank you.